Eastern Standard Time. Don't you miss it. Feeling lethargic? Feeling lazy? Feeling tired? Well, join the
Hi, Will. How are you?
I am good this Sunday evening. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. It's so great to have you back in the studio. And Sohini is going to join us a little bit later. And this evening, we're touching on such an important topic.
Yes,
And I'm feeling the energy of it tying into what we spoke about last week, Wednesday.
right.
You know,
Uh,
it's
yeah.
go ahead, Will.
No, I want you to finish what you're saying. I was just going to say that this actually fits it perfectly. And so, what I'm going to say, this, you and I and Lady J have some good conversation when we get on the same show together, right? But this show tonight is something different than we've ever done because this, what we're talking about, could change somebody's life before they leave the show. And
Yes.
so I took a lot more time as though I was going to be doing a corporate speaking engagement with this because the topic that you have is it's broad and I want to expand on it. And we're going to go through a lot of different parts of it, but it all connects back into the essence of you. You're a lot of things
Yes.
in order to make up that essence. It's not as simple as just saying, well, I have a certain vibe about me. It's much deeper than that. And so what we're going to do is go really deep into this topic where people can really connect with it and see parts of themselves in what we're going to be talking about.
Absolutely, well, I totally agree with what you're saying because whenever we host these podcasts, we always like when we get the phone call or we get the message. This
Right.
was right on point.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's always great to know that whatever we are offering and whatever we are giving out to the public, it's touching lives.
Right.
And it's helping people to understand that you know what, there is hope,
Mm-hmm.
and to believe in yourself, because when you believe in yourself, so many things and so many possibilities can happen in your life. So this
Absolutely.
evening we just want you to sit back and have a notepad, have a pen with you, because a lot of pointers, a lot of questions is going to be handed out to you this evening that you can ask yourself in your quiet moments. You can ask yourself these questions because we all go through things on a daily basis.
Right.
We all go through things. We all are faced with so much of challenges, but not forgetting that we have our inner essence. And our inner essence is our superpower. Is that frequency, it's the purest
Absolutely.
frequency of your being. That sacredness, that pureness of you. You came in with that. That's your life energy. But many times, because things has been altered in our lives, we forget about that essence, that pure essence that we came in with. As little children, well, that
Yes.
essence, we knew that we all know about that essence as little children. But as we
Uh-huh.
get older, the noise, the conditioning, all these things happen. in our lives, and it changed us and put us into a different state of mind. But we're here to tell you this evening that you can tap in back to that essence. All hope is not lost.
That's right.
You can tap in back to that pure inner frequency that we all carry every single day as we move along this
Everybody.
journey called life.
That's
And
right. Everybody.
the thing is that your essence is your original truth. It's your original truth. It's your
Yeah.
inner fire. It's your inner fire. And also, it's your soul signature. It's your soul signature. And when you tap into this essence, it's magical, it's mystical. And when we realize in life that things are really not going the way how we expect it to go in our lives, it's time that we pivot and go to our essence. Because the essence is telling us a lot about ourselves, but we're not listening, we're not paying attention to what is being communicated. So much is going on in our lives. Yes, we know a lot of things happening in our lives on a daily basis, but we never forget who we are. We never forget to tap into that essence. That's who we are. And when we tap in, we can have so many answers that we are looking for in the frustration period in our lives. So many answers that we can get from our true, deep essence.
Yes.
This evening, we just want you to sit back. We just want you to be in a relaxing position. And we're going to give you some questions also this evening because we want this to be very interactive. We want to know how you're feeling and be vulnerable. This is a space you can be vulnerable and be honest with yourself because that's the only way you can get to your essence.
Yes.
You got to be honest with yourself as an individual. And we're giving you this space that you can be honest with yourself and you can ask questions so we can help you to dive deep and go to your true essence. Right, Will? I'm going to toss the mic to you now.
That's absolutely right. Okay. What I want to do, everybody, I've been on the show enough now. I don't have to really introduce myself, but just in case of new people, we welcome and encourage new visitors and viewers to come in and watch this show. It's a good show. I'm Will Williams. I'm a transformational speaker. I own some businesses as well, and I'm also a priest, a spiritual priest. Okay, so I do a lot of things where I have to. I get the chance to experience a whole lot of different things. I've also been a professional sports coach of basketball, football, and so I've encountered people from all walks of life. And so when I talk to people, I take that experience from all those different engagements and throw it into what the topic is. So, like tonight's subject is really a good subject, the essence of you. Now, Karen, this is a good title, Karen, by the way. A title like this, people will see it and figure, well, okay, well, I probably already know that. But the truth of the matter is, because of where we are in this era of this shift that we're going through, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, globally, with society, everything is shifting. And we're going in more of a unseen realm where the things that you don't think exist is what you need to understand exists. That's going to help you in the long run. Now, some people from the religious perspective, they say that they're all in and they drink the blood of Jesus and doing the sacrament and eat the little cracker for his body, and that's all good and fine. But here's the thing about that: it doesn't actually mean anything in the overall picture of things, because if you don't really tap into the frequency of that, Karen mentioned that word frequency, if you don't tap into that, then you're just basically performing a ritual. And you're only doing it because everybody else at the time that's in that environment is doing it, and you don't want to be seen as the odd person out and feel any pressure, because that's the other thing that people fear, is being ostracized or being not one of the group. But the truth of the matter is, outside of that group is where your strength lies. Within the structure of that group that you're afraid to break away from, it traps you. And what you will lose is yourself, but you'll also lose your agency to where you are afraid to step out on your own because of the fear of failure or what somebody may say because you decided to take that opportunity to see if you could strive and do something different. And so people run scared. Everybody claims that they're not, but I don't see you stepping out there. So until you take that step, you're afraid and you try to hide behind that. That becomes a part of you, essence of you. So what I want to do is take us through some things. And of course, we're going to always cover the psychology of it, the spirituality of it, and the religious aspects of it. I like to throw those things in and when I give a presentation, right? And so we can cover all the bases of how you feel. But also today, because this is such a unique topic, I want to throw in something that people don't actually consider or think. I just mentioned the word religion. Within the structure of the Bible, everybody has a gift, okay? Now, people don't think, they think a unique gift is power, rather. It's something that you see in movies, or you have to be jumping off a building or, able to do something that you think is out of the ordinary. But here's the thing about superpower. It's simple, but not so noticeable. Like the word discernment. Discernment is a superpower. You don't think that because you use it in the context of it not being. And you think of it in the context of not being. Okay? But that's considered a superpower. If you're religious, that's in your Bible. If you read it, it's in your Bible as a superpower. But so you don't know that because you don't use it in that manner. So you never actually tap into your full being of who you actually could be and the things that you can do that you think are impossible for you because you're looking for something, like I just said, out of the ordinary. But a superpower, a true superpower, is something that people see all the time, but they don't see it. Remember I said, we're in an era where now the things that you think don't exist, exist. But you won't see them because you're looking for it in the physical. All this stuff is spiritual. It starts spiritual and then it moves into the material. But the only way it moves to the material is you have to see it first in your mind. Then it becomes to where it will materialize. But see, you're doing it the other way around where you think that, okay, if I see it, then that means it exists. And so that's the end of it. But no. Like I said, this is far deeper than you think. So what I want to do is go through a few things before we get to the psychological. And it's for some of what I'm about to say is psychological too, though. But I want to start with the transmutation aspect of it first. Of a favorite word of Lady J, gratitude. She used that word pretty often on these shows. And it's something that's a transmutation move. It's an energy that shifts things. It's a frequency. If you tap into gratitude, you will move in a direction that you don't think that you should be able to go through. But again, you're moving without seeing this stuff. So the people that you will encounter, the things that you'll start to do, because you're moving in the direction of what you believe, it starts to happen for you. But you have to be able to understand this to a degree too, because as it's happening, if you don't understand it or see it or notice it, then you don't tap into it, but the people around you will be able to use that energy for something else that they're trying to do. And so they'll come by and go, hey, that little idea that you threw out last week, I thought about it a little bit and I'm going to do that, even though it's your idea, but you weren't willing to move on it. They decided, okay, you know what? I think I can do that. So they move on it. You've lost out because now you're discouraged to even try because now somebody else has tried that you mentioned it to, and you'll say to yourself, and this is where people go wrong too. You say to yourself, like, they just copied me. I shouldn't have said anything. And so now you're tied up in the negative aspect of it because now you're bad mouthing them because they had enough courage to try it, whereas you decided not to. So you have to move in a direction of transmutation, of gratitude. Think of gratitude and move toward that, right? Now, to be effective in that, it has to come with consistent intent. You have to be consistent about it. You have to be able, remember I said visualize it, you have to see it in your mind. And then it becomes to where it becomes possible. But the next move after you see it in your mind, you have to believe. You have to move to the belief of it. And you have to keep doing this. It has to become a repetition to where you start to see it and believe it to where now it becomes second nature. You believe it and it becomes real to you. As it shifts, it starts to move in a direction where now you can start to see it possibility. Now this is called auto suggestion. Now you do that. I just use the word that you wouldn't use with it, but I just use the word that is mental. It's in your brain. This is brain thinking, right? So anytime that you decide, if you're a religious person, you pray. That's what auto suggestion is. Now people that are spiritual are not even any type of relation to any of this, and they just exist and they say, okay, it's all on me, and it is. You still are moving on auto suggestion. That's how manifestation is. When you say it in your mind, now you start to put it in perspective that you can do it. And what the brain starts to do is it starts to internalize this and start to stack it, because you're talking to your subconscious at this point. You're basically doing the I am to yourself. And that's what it's going to require for you to get to where you want to go to actually reach your full potential of your true essence. You have to be an I am. Now, we talk about this word I am all the time and say that once you declare that I am, whatever comes after that is who you are. That's basically what you're calling in. So the I am itself is a power within itself, right? That's one of the superpowers. When you declare it, it's a declaration of I'm going to move in that direction and make this happen. So once you say that and you believe it, now you have to come back and clarify it. Give it some specific direction that you intend to take to get there. And again, it comes with repetition. You have to tie that repetition into it to where you repeat it, because it becomes like a prayer to you, So once you do that, your subconscious will buy into it. That's how you're programming yourself to do this, right? Because the subconscious is always going to be trying to protect you and say, no, we shouldn't do that. That and the ego are always working against you. But if you visualize it and you actually see it, because this is what people do is manifest, you declare it, then you see it. And like Carolyn said a few times when I've done shows with her, everything, and we're going to cover that too. Nothing exists. She puts it in a different way, but nothing exists until you see it. Everything, even what we're doing right now, this was just somebody thought of this. Okay, so they bought it from here and put it out, and then it gave it direction, and it became what it is. Just like these headphones I'm wearing here, right? So somebody decided, okay, I designed it like this. I can see it in my mind's eye, and it should look like this, and that's what they did. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this. So we're talking about things that have been around for thousands and thousands of thousands of years. Okay. Now, what people don't appreciate about this is they think that it all just started when the Bible came into play. But the Bible is Johnny come lately to what man has been doing all along. Okay. Because there are natural laws to the universe that man has always, particular men, not everybody. Everybody is to some degree a God, but when you say God, there are layers to God. Okay, so just like the God of the Bible is not the single, you hear people like the one true living God. That's not true. If you read the Bible, he always talks about counsel of God. He's meeting with other gods. There's a council over here, a council over there. So the God of the Bible speaks of other gods. So every person that exists is that God. The God is you. I know some people don't want to accept that because they keep looking outside themselves, but as long as you're looking outside yourself, you can only get so far. but you'll accredit that to a deity, but it's you all the time. Now, the next thing I'm going to go into is the psychology of the law of substitution, because I just mentioned that you like to put things outside of you. So you're substituting yourself for a deity that you think that is doing all this good stuff for you. But if you look real closely, you'll find it's you. There's nobody singling out that there's bad people over here. I'm not going to let them, get to a certain level. I'm going to keep money from them, keep them poor, and not be able to feed themselves. That kind. There's nobody doing that. Okay, it's you in the situation of man on this earth that's greedy and blocking off people from doing certain things. I want to throw this in since I just brought that up as we move through this. 40%, and I just wrote an article about this. 40% of people that are employed, 40%, remember that number 40, are homeless. Now, these are people that are getting up, going to work every day, but they're homeless. Now, the reason I want to throw this in here is because guess what jobs employees or businesses are doing to those people? They're firing them. Quietly, this is being kept quiet, so nobody's talking about this. You're not going to see it on any major media source. They're not going to be, in the news talking about it. But they are firing these people for being homeless. Think about that. How much non-empathy you have to have for people, and they're still trying to exist and do the best that they can, and you're firing them because they don't have proper hygiene. They don't have an address. Stuff like this is the kind of stuff they're firing people over who are homeless. Instead of trying to pay them, find a way that they can pay them more money where they can afford to bring themselves back in alignment, they'd rather fire them. That's going on across America right now. Now, we talk about caring for one another in this country, but we do a really poor job of doing so, because there should not be any homeless people in the United States of America. Even though the country is practically broke at this point, they're just printing paper money and saying it's still worth something. The country is really broke, okay? But here's the thing about that. Since we're using this fake money, then we can print as much of it as we want to. And we can make things happen to where people are not on the street. We can give them housing if we really wanted to, but instead we're doing the opposite, okay? Now, the reason I brought up the law of substitution is because you have to replace a bad thought with a good thought. That's how you move in the direction of it being positive is going to happen for you, right? All this ties back into the essence of you, because this is going to complete you where you stay in that energy all the time. That's how you stay there. That's why you don't have to turn on and become a character where you can put the face on sometime, and then other times it's not really who you are. So you feel bad when you by yourself for a second or two. You remember that that's not who you really are. So when somebody comes up, then you got to put a fake smile on and everything is okay. Yes, no, it's not, because that's not who you are, because you haven't put all these pieces together and make it work as in unison of one another, right? So the other part of this, once you move through that, you move down to emotional memory. So I'm giving you all the tricks of the trade here that keep you where you need to go. Okay, remember Karen told you needed a piece of paper and pencil at the beginning of this show, and she introduced me, because we're covering all the aspects of things that are going to enhance your life. And we're hoping that this particular show, somebody out there, hear me. Somebody, I'm talking to somebody in particular right now that's connected with even the early parts of what I said. I haven't even really got into the meat and potatoes of this yet. We're still just around the early part of it. But somebody's already connected with this message. Notice I used the word I am in that. And I didn't put anything behind that because I wanted to put the I am in your subconscious for you to put whatever you want to put behind that after you hear this message. You put it behind that and become that. That's why I just put the I am there. Your subconscious heard me, and you didn't pay any attention to that because I used it in different contexts. But the subconscious, wait a minute, I know that word. And so it kept, it's in there. So I've already put the plant in there to get you moving, right? When I speak, I always tell people, people ask me if I'm a motivational speaker or not. I'm an inspirational speaker because I think that everybody already has motivation, but you need to be inspired to move on it, act on it. That's where the doubt comes from, is do you trust you enough to make it actually happen? You have the motivation, you'll think about it, And like, I can really do this. And you get the rah-rah stuff that we get out, you get these sports teams, they get the rah-rah high-fiving and all, jumping around, that burning off that extra energy. But then that wears off. So that's why I don't like to do the motivational aspect of it, because I want you to be inspired to believe once you make the transformation that you can actually do this. That's why I covered a little bit, and we're going to talk more about this, but we're talking about the gifts that you have, the superpower rather, that you have that are in the Bible, right? And I mentioned the word discernment. Everybody knows what that is, and everybody uses it constantly. And it's a superpower. And the Bible is considered a superpower. So that's one superpower that you haven't tapped into and used on a daily basis. This has to become second nature to you, to where it's just like you brushing your teeth, washing your face, where you don't even think about it. It has to be ingrained in you. But the only way you can do that is put it in your subconscious, because the subconscious is going to wake up every morning and it's ready to go, because it now knows it has a journey that you're on. It understands what your journey is. Once you get on that, now you can keep moving forward. You're going to still have roadblocks, but remember, we're talking about the essence of you. So guess what? You're not going to give up. See, when you join some new prospect of having an opportunity to, let's say, grow money-wise or something like that, or some business opportunity come up for the first few weeks, oh, you're ready to go. You're ready to go. You got all the energy, like, oh, this is going to change my life. By week number 4, which is a month, by that time, it's not happening fast enough for you. So you start to wear down. You start to have doubt. And by week 5, going into the second month, you're like almost ready to quit. And that's what most people do, because if you look real closely, everybody has this declaration at the beginning of the new year, which is not really the new year, but we'll talk about that on a different show. But January 1st, you make that declaration that I'm getting ready to start. I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to walk a little bit more. I'm going to work out more. And you rah-rah it for about first 2 weeks. You go to the gym. You pay the membership. By week number 3, hey, I'm a little sore. My shoulder was sore. My back is hurting a little bit. I don't know if I'm going back next week. And usually that starts to shut down the system. You start to shut down. You start to say, okay, well, you know what? Maybe I don't need to exercise. I just change my diet, and that'll work for me. And for another 2 weeks, you'll be disciplined on that diet. By week number 3 on that, you're like, well, you know what? I kind of miss my burger. I miss my soda. Okay, well, maybe just one. And so you start to gradually break yourself down. So you're losing the essence of you, but to yourself, you lie to yourself. You tell yourself, no, I'm still on track. Everything's good. Everything's good. It's going to be all right. But it's not, because you've now changed the direction that you're going. So your true essence can't continue to hold together, because you're breaking it down yourself. Nobody from the outside has to do this to you. You're doing it. Remember, all of this comes back to you, because I told you, you are the God that you keep worshiping. It's you. It's you. Now, we're in the era where you're going to eventually see this. I know you're having trouble with it right now, because we've been programmed and everything else, as far as believing that that's all outside of you, and it's some government entity that's going to direct where you need to go. But you notice I put the word entity out the government, because the two are connected. Religion and government are connected. And that's what you've always missed, because you always thought America, they always tell you that government and religion are separate. No, they're not. Government created religion. You go back, this is the Roman system that we're on. In Roman days, the Romans created religion. Okay, so we're running the same system, the same playbook. It's the same thing. It's just been updated. But in your Bible, and I had somebody stop me just 2 days ago, and they were asking me, well, if that's in the, how come I can find that particular verbiage in the Bible? And I had to tell them, because they keep revising the Bible that you read. If you look, every year a new Bible comes out. You might still have an older version of it, which is good, because it's not going to match the words that they're using in the new version of the Bible. They changed the words to fool you to think that, okay, all this has been updated. But if the book was that sacred and it's the sacred word of a God, then they don't want you to say anything different though, but they can change the wording themselves. So
Mm-hmm.
your thinking is going to be what you think about it, how they can get you to buy into it today.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
you hear me talk about the Bible a lot because the Bible itself is not what I'm talking about as far as I'm talking about you, the person, and the image that you have of a God hanging out in the sky somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you a secret about the Bible. I just told you it tells you about superpowers that you have. And I'm gonna give you some actual scriptures so you can read it for yourself if you decide to go down that road, okay? But here's the thing. The Bible itself is a very powerful book, but you gotta know how to use that book.
Mm-hmm.
If you know how to use that book, your confidence, we use the word confidence a lot, but you'll have access to information that leads you to doorways that you think don't exist or you figure that are closed. But there's so much going on that you don't have a clue about because you think that because of what you see again is all there is to this. It's not. The Bible holds secrets, but you got to understand how to read those secrets. And I'm not talking about being told by some pastor somewhere that this is what's in it. I'm talking about you reading it for yourself. Once you read it for yourself, you will know. But if you listen to some pastor give you a sermon on Sunday, he's cherry picking it and giving you the version that's going to keep you locked into the trap. So that's the game. Now, if you stay there, that's on you. If you feel safe there and that's what you think that you know, you worried about going to hell or being judged, that's on you. But at some point, you're going to wake up. You might not want to stay awake, but you're going to wake up at some point. Now, the emotional memory is something that is used in acting. You know, when you see a good actor and you buy into the scene that they're, you know, performing at the time of the movie, you buy into them actually crying. They're crying for real, from real pain. That part is not fake from a good actor. Now, I'm not talking about, you know, an actor who they have to kind of, you know, cut. If you see them cut away and come back to it, they've wadded up the face and all that. They've done some window dressing for you. But from a real good actor, when they tell you, and if you listen to actors, they'll say this. They say they tap into a power. The power that they're talking about, we're talking about spirituality too. They'll say that they pull out the person that they may be portraying, they'll pull their spirit into them. But what they're really doing is they're tapping into a memory. We call it emotional memory. And what you're doing is thinking about some portion of your life where pain, something hurt you really, really bad. You can tap back into that memory, and that pain will be as though it's right there at that moment that you need to relive it. You're reliving that very pain. That's why you see the tears, they are real, because they are reliving a moment in their life that they felt that kind of pain. So, like I said, there are only a few actors that can actually do that today. And you see them in certain movies, you'll see it. But, you know, that's something that you can use in your own essence. Every moment that you've had in your life that's been really good and you remember that, tap back into that. Carry that. You can recall that moment anytime you want to. The brain can move backwards and forwards, okay? The present time is where you want to be, but yesterday and the future are all happening at the same time. We talk about this all the time. It's all simultaneous. The brain doesn't know what's real and what's not real. So any moment that you've had in the past is not so far in the past. See, you're contemplated and put it into concept of, well, that happened 20 years ago. But guess what? The brain, though, it's not registering that. So when you bring that memory up, it's just like it's happening right now. So your heart will start feeling full. You get the same exact feeling of emotion from it, and you'll feel good about it because you're reliving it. That's what's going to give you what you need to keep yourself moving forward. Relive those moments of joy that you had from
Mm-hmm.
age, from the earliest point that you can remember good things happening to you, from that age on up to where you are in the present time, just lock in those memories of good moments that you've had. It may not be anything but a exchange with a family member for a few seconds. That maybe you getting ready to leave and they just happen to, drop by for a few seconds, and you maybe over to your parents' house and a sister or brother came through and you getting ready to leave and y'all just have just a few minutes of casual conversation. You remember that moment at the time that you need to have that type of energy. Remember that moment of how you felt.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take that and you move it forward, because here, I come with this in the last show we carried an idea together. Your childhood is basically your adulthood. Okay? And what I mean by that is you have things that you bring from childhood all the way up to your adulthood, and you are basically essentially inside the essence of you is that kid. You're that little kid. All those moments. All you need somebody to congratulate you, encourage you, tell you did a good job. You need friends. Then you can put this a whole lot of different, I'm just giving you the top of it, but you can put a lot of content underneath these blocks that I'm giving you, right? You need friends, and then you have to have a sense of safety. You know when you felt safe as a kid, that you felt like no matter where you were, nothing was going to happen to you. You felt completely safe. Didn't give it a second thought, because your parents were with you, maybe, or you were in a setting where you felt secure. That's the essence of you. Now, I said, under those three things, you can put a whole lot of different things. So you put under there whatever you need to take you into that. You're gradually building a foundation to get yourself into a mindset to where everything can come into fruition for you, and then you can stay there. I get asked a lot of times about why I'm able to smile and have such a good attitude about life, because I had so many good things happen for me that I relive those moments. So on a day when I do feel a little down, it's only going to be for a few, because I'm going to tap back in to those moments when I did have a good moment, and I'm going to let that pull me back up to the present.
Absolutely.
So when you do that, there's nothing that you feel like is impossible for you when you do
Sure.
it. And you do it enough,
So
to
true.
become who you are.
So
So
true.
remember I said about auto-suggestion. Instead of asking for something, declare that you have the something that you are needing.
Yes.
You won't be there in the physical right then. That's not how this works. That's why people think it does and want it to work. It's not that. It's not magic in that per se. Okay, when you start thinking about it happening like that, it's not that like that. But if you start thinking in the context of I already have it, the frequency of that feeling, because we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
emotion now, that emotion is going to cover you. It's going to become part of
Mm-hmm.
your heart energy, right? And when I speak of the heart, we talk about, and I don't mention this enough, and I don't think that we even talk about it enough as a society in general. Your mother gave you the most secure thing that you can have the rest of your life when you're born into this world and you walk around with this body, okay?
Mm-hmm.
She gave you what they call in the Bible the divine spark. Now, you've seen this spark talked about in other movies all over the place. Even the Transformers, they had the big war with the bad Transformers, and they was battling over the spark. So they're trying to find the spark. The spark is heart energy, love, 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 love. Your mother gives you that unconditionally when you're born into this world. You come into it with that. That's your divine spark. But see, you don't know that. So guess what? You blow it off. You're like, okay, well, you love me. Okay, no big deal. You can't do any of this without that LOVE, because you have to have unconditional love for you first of all. If you have it for you,
True. True.
you've already experienced it.
Gotta
Greater
love
love
yourself. Yes.
exactly. You
You gotta
already
love
know what love
yourself.
feels like. You won't be you'll
Yes.
be looking around for it. So the person that's going to come into your life that you can now share that love with, you don't need them for that, because you already know what love feels like. The
It
best
starts
love
with
you
you.
ever had. Exactly. It's you. It's your heart.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
if you find the right person, you're going to be able to experience that all the time.
Yes.
you're going to be in bliss all the time with this person because they're going to have that same feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Everything works off the
Yes.
emotion, okay? So
Yes.
I want
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that you understand this. Emotionally, once you get attached to it, you feel it, then, which is why I said those good moments that you have to bring into fruition, right? Emotional memory. You connect that with what you're trying to do. If you can do that, like I said before, nothing becomes impossible for you at that point. You actually believe because now you're buying into it and you actually turn that not faith, you turn it into a belief system. Faith and belief are not the same thing. Belief you can repeat, faith you cannot. The Bible tells you that the God of the Bible only exists through faith. Hebrews 11:6 is the only place that God exists is you having faith that it does exist.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Once you remove that, it becomes back to
Yes.
you because
Mm-hmm.
you are a God. But you got to accept that in order to buy into it to where your energy force becomes that feeling where you carry it all the time with you. And it's not you being arrogant or cocky or anything like that. You know who you are. That's what it's supposed to be about. You knowing who you are. If I ask you who you are, you start giving me titles. We mentioned this and talked about this on shows before. You start mentioning titles and doctorate degrees and all this. That's not who you are. Because once we get past that, we still try to have a real conversation. If we go outside of what your degree is, you're not gonna have much of a conversation for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why people that live within the structure of their title, they're not going to be able to talk to you about much because they can't live outside of that title. That's who they become. That's who they are. And a title is nothing. That's something made up. That's a system. That's a structure.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
not you. That's not
Mm-hmm.
you. Like you have people come back to religion again. You come back. I'm a Christian. Really? Are you? Just because
Mm-hmm.
you drink a little wine and eat a few chips and say amen and pray, that that
It's
doesn't make
deep.
you a Christian. You're just acting out a ritual. That's a ritual.
Yes. It's deep.
Because you
It's
say I
very
love
deep.
Jesus, or Jesus is my father. Look, when you start getting into religion, you start talking about yourself in the context of that's my father and you the kid, you the child, you're a child of God. That demotes you because
Mm-hmm.
we still live in a society where kids don't know what an adult knows. Now, I'll give you something. We have some exceptional kids that are 14, 15 years old that have some exceptional minds. They know some things, but they still are not you as an adult because they haven't experienced that life yet. So I can still refer to them as a child.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what a child does? It bows down. The child will bow down. I know we got some kids out there today that won't, they try to buck you and that kind of crazy stuff. But for the most part, a kid is not an adult. So if God is your father, and we're talking about a spiritual being, not a physical, God is not a physical thing. The Bible will tell you that it is spiritual first. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
made in the image of that God of the Bible, what are you? Spirit
Mm-hmm.
first. You're
Mm-hmm.
not this form.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy into that, then you are not the form. You are a spirit, just like the God of the Bible actually is. It
Mm-hmm.
never had received a form. Man gave it a look like me kind of thing and with a big beard and sitting on a big chair. It's a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And a
Mm-hmm.
spirit is consciousness. That's
Wow,
what I
that's
said.
deep.
There are people that have lived long before the Bible was written that understood this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so today, we and people always live like this. Once we start competing, you got to scare people away from something over here, so they'll follow something over here. So they start telling you certain aspects of things were bad, and it's demonic. You hear that a lot now. The word
Mm-hmm.
demonic. Oh, that's demonic. That's demonic. This demonic. Look, your mind is the only place a demon lives.
Mm-hmm.
Now, me saying that, I'm not saying that because there is not a, I said everything is spiritual. So I already said that, but it's not good or bad. You decide that off of your own spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
True.
everything is spirit. You decide whether you want to call it, give it a man-made name, demon. Okay, that's man. Man gave it that name. There's no name for that. It's just a spirit. Consciousness is the air we breathe. Are you calling that demon? Is that a demon? I know. See,
Mm-hmm.
because we have some people that can experience supernatural things. They've seen things. They've felt things. That's possible because everything is what I say, a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Mm-hmm.
reason that's possible. And
Yeah.
the Bible tells you that the God of the Bible is a spirit. So the all things that the supernatural things are happening spiritually, not physically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
None of that happens physically. Even
But
the resurrection of the Jesus character, for instance, spiritual,
yes,
not physical. He
so
didn't
true.
walk on water until after he died.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Before that, nobody saw him walk on any water. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Did he make any wine? Come on. No. No, he
You
did
see,
not.
the thing is, well, that it's because we don't tap into understand.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When we tap into the essence of our being, we're able to understand exactly what is. You touch on some great points here, Will. You talk about I am.
Uh-huh.
Many times is what is following after the I am.
Right.
People are saying affirmations every day, but you're not in alignment
Uh-uh.
with what you're saying, so you cannot see the results that you're looking
Can't
for.
see it. There you go. Can't see
And then the first thing they would say, the affirmation is not working. Because
it.
if you're misaligned and you're saying something and you don't believe in what you're saying, it can't happen
Yeah.
because you're not on that frequency to
Not on the
understand
frequency.
exactly what's happening. And you also touched on gratitude,
Right.
because many times we are not in that state of gratitude.
No, people take it for granted.
Yeah, we just don't give thanks for the things that we have in our lives,
No.
even the breath
No.
that we're breathing.
Exactly.
Every morning when you wake up, that breath that you breathe, we're not even giving gratitude for that breath that we breathe. We're not even
No.
recognizing it's a blessing, it's a gift that we can wake up and we can breathe. We're
Uh-huh.
not even pausing to recognize these things. And it's sad. It's just sad. We're just
It is.
we're just going about our daily lives and we're not even pausing to recognize the things that the life force that is taking us around on the
Right.
daily basis.
There you go.
That essence, we're not even recognizing that essence within our lives. And we
Oh.
really need to stop and look at these things, because without that life force, we can't do anything.
Can't do anything.
We can't do nothing without that life force. We can't do nothing. And that's your essence. You also touched on childhood,
Yes.
because I'm just going to share a story that happened recently. And
Please do. Please do.
I I was telling my daughter something a couple days ago, because my grandson, the school had a fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
And before he left home to go to the fair, he said to my daughter, he said, "Mama, I'm going to win lots of gifts." And right away, she sent me a message and she said, "You know what? He said he's going to win a lot of gifts." Well, I said, "You know what? If he says so, that is what is going to happen."
Exactly.
And indeed, that is what happened. But you see, it's the mindset.
Yes.
At 4 years old, he is moving around with that type of mindset.
Uh-huh.
So I said to her, "You got to keep telling him now
Right.
That's manifestation.
Exactly. You gotta nurture it.
So you see how at a young age we all been manifesting at a pretty young age, but
Yeah.
we forget to tap in back to that aspect of our
Right.
lives.
Well, because it's told that you don't have that power to do that. You know, as you start to move through the school system, they educate you to move away from that because they don't want you tapping into that, right? So,
Absolutely,
so they're telling you it's
absolutely,
impossible.
absolutely will. And that
Yes.
is our essence.
Uh-huh. They're taking your essence away from you because they want you to be
Exactly.
compliant. Yep.
Exactly. And the thing is that we move away from our original truth,
That's right.
because the
That's
essence
right.
is our original truth, and it's our intuitive intelligence, because it tells us a lot of stuff. But because we don't tap into that aspect of our
Right.
lives,
Right.
we cannot get the true intelligence that we're looking for. We're
That's
not
right.
tapping in. It's time we step back and tap in to that
Yes,
essence of our lives, and it's an unmasked presence,
it is. It
because a
is.
lot of times we are moving around with a lot of mask,
Uh-huh.
and the mask that we're wearing, it's not us.
No.
Many times we're wearing that mask to protect ourselves,
Because they're
you know
fearful. They're scared of
and
themselves.
it's fear. We're protecting us because we could become fearful, but not knowing that we have our essence. We don't need to be afraid of anything.
Anything. Fear nothing.
We don't need to be afraid of anything. And again, we got to believe in ourselves. We're not believing in ourselves. We're not believing in the ability
Right?
that we have, that we possess. We came with all of that. And I really
Yes.
like when you said too, you got to declare it to see it.
You have to.
You
Absolutely.
know, we got to declare things that we want to see, and then we got to see things from the end. We got to see it from the end, and we got to start feeling that emotion of having what you're looking for. We got to
Uh-huh.
embody that emotion. And when you start to live like that, you start to really understand your inner voice.
You do.
And
And you
you
start to
you
recognize your superpowers too, Karen.
exactly. And then you
You know?
start to honor your inner voice.
Exactly. You
And
know,
go ahead,
I
Will.
want you go now. We'll go ahead and finish. I want you to finish because you've given me my opening to go back to go into. We haven't even got to the imagination part of this yet. So we're going to discuss it, how important and how powerful that is to be a part of your essence. It has to. You have to have that.
Yes.
And I also want to mention before you chime back in here and finish what you were saying. I mentioned the thing about your superpowers, right? Now in the Bible they have you have 12 superpowers. Is what the Bible says you have. Okay? Now I think that if you only tapped into just a few of these, you would still be able to utilize these because then you could hone your skills around these specific things and build your foundation to be solid of your essence into it, right? So I want you to go ahead and finish what you were saying before I go into this. So
Yeah, the beautiful thing is that we don't even recognize how powerful we are.
no, we do not. Do not.
We don't recognize how powerful we are. And it's our state of mind that we
Every
move
day.
around with every day.
Every day.
And
People beat themselves down.
exactly, people pleasing, we're trying to please people.
Hmm.
By conditioning ourselves, we try to please people.
You want to fit
Many,
into the group, Carrie. You
pardon
want
me?
to fit in. People want to fit into that group. They don't want to be ostracized and say, well, we think a little bit
Yeah,
different, so we can't accept you in our group. So you need to find a new group to associate with. Because we can't accept you here. But that's your freedom. That's your point of going to freedom. Because if they tell you you don't fit with them, clap your hands and walk away because that's going to free you. You're not trapped into the same system that they're trapped into, where they can only talk about certain things up to a certain level, and then they'll stop talking about it because it's going to scare everybody in the group, and nobody wants to, we can't go there. So that's the best thing that can happen to you if they push you out of a group.
Exactly.
That's the best. That's the best thing that can happen to you because then, if you walk in courage, as Karen just mentioned, you can start to realize that you are all you actually need. Everything else that's going to come to you will start to come. The mirror will start to open up for you, and you start to see yourself coming back to you. You have much better people around you.
Yes.
You have people that whatever you're trying to get done that wasn't people in that group couldn't get you access to, you're going to meet somebody who has access to a better system that you're trying to move into to get to where you're trying to go on your journey.
Exactly.
You can't do that if you lock yourself into one group, see?
Absolutely.
Ahead,
that ties us in now to doing the alignment audit.
Exactly. You have to have that. You have to have that.
Exactly. Because if you were saying to yourself, I'm looking to do this with my life, but
Right?
you're going into spaces that does not reflect what you're looking for, that's not alignment.
No.
You're misaligned. So
Misaligned.
you have to do the alignment audit with your relationships, your self-expression, the way how you expressing yourself. Again, you're going to tie that back into your I ams. What are you telling yourself on a daily basis?
Right.
Because many times, again, we're asking for one thing, but we're not aligning ourselves to what we're asking for. So if you're saying one thing, but you're doing the opposite, it can't happen. It's not going to happen. And how are we starting off our day on a daily basis? Are you asking yourself, is this feeling true to me? Is my feelings that I'm feeling, is it true to me?
Yeah.
My feelings that I'm feeling, why am I feeling this way? There is a reason why I'm feeling this way. Ask yourself the question and listen. Listen for the answer. Why I'm feeling so heavy? There is a reason why you feel heavy, because your body is trying to communicate with you. Maybe it's a relationship that you're in, and your body's trying to tell you something about what's happening there, but you're not paying attention. And it's your intuition is whispering to you to let you know what? Hey, something is wrong here. But again, we don't listen.
Don't listen.
We don't listen.
Intuition is one of your superpowers too.
Exactly.
But see, people don't use it because again, they're not flying or lifting something over their head or dodging bullet or something. So they don't see that as a superpower.
Yeah.
So
it's a superpower.
Yeah, the things that are small are what you have the strength with, right? So of the things I said I was going to mention this, other things that are superpowers of the 12, I only want to mention a few of them. Love, imagination, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. Strength, which is resilience, and understanding. In the Bible, those are considered superpowers. You're watching this show, what I just said, take those words and break them down and see. Because I know right now you question like, wait a minute, that can't be a superpower. What are you talking about? I just told you it's in the Bible. If you believe, if you have faith in the Bible, and I just told you that, now you're getting your Superman pose on. And speaking of Superman pose, when he stands and he stands out with his hands out to his side and his legs spread, that's the essence of energy. See, he's not just standing that way just to be standing that way. That's the essence of I am.
Yes.
That's what he's doing. He's giving you an I am. So that's why all the cartoon drawings that you've ever seen of him, he's standing on top of a building or somewhere. That's how he stands, because that's I am. He's telling you, this is my essence. Nothing is going to affect me. I am. I am. I am. That's what he's telling you. So come on with it. If you coming, come, because I'm ready. So if you look at what I said, the superpower with love, imagination, resilience, and understanding, everybody's saying like, understand? How can that be a superpower? Think about that real closely. Because if you're able to understand and listen in a conversation or in an exchange of a negotiation or something like that, that understanding gives you an upper hand on the situation. Because somebody without understanding cannot put the pieces together. They can't do that. So understanding is simple, but it's a superpower that each and every one of us has. So you got to tap into it, though. You know, in Ephesians 3:17 says, "Dwell in your heart." And remember what I said. Love is the spark. Love is the spark. Okay, that's a superpower because everybody is looking for love, but everybody don't experience it. So if you're able to love you unconditionally, you have a superpower that somebody that almost a billion people don't have. Think about that real closely. If you love you unconditionally and you're able to hold that, you're holding on to something that gives you the energy to walk into any room, any place, anytime, prepared for whatever is to come. Because you have self love, so there's no doubt about who you are. And if you unconditionally love yourself, whatever's coming out of your mouth at that point in time, you have the faith and belief. I want to use that word. I don't use faith a lot, but since we have people that are religious, I want to throw that in so I can connect with you. I'm talking to your subconscious. You have to have that in order for you to buy into it to where you actually can carry yourself with that energy. Because if you don't, you can't hold it. That energy is it's all over the place. But if you have unconditional love for you, that energy draws in on you and it embraces you. It empowers you. You know, you hear some people say that they see an aura around people. Some people
Yes.
can see it, right? That's the energy I'm talking about. When you have that kind of love for yourself, you carry that energy every day. There's not a moment that it takes off of, you know what, I need a lunch break. I'm going over here to eat. I'll meet you over there about 2 o'clock. It
Yeah.
doesn't do that. It's with you all the time. So you don't have to
True.
call up on it. It's already with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You hear people talk about what I called upon God and he came and helped me out. If you already have the essence, you're not
Mm-hmm.
calling on anybody because you're already in the position you need to be to handle the situation. You don't have to call on something.
True.
It's already with you.
So
Now I
true.
want to say something about imagination before you jump back in here, Karen. Okay. In the Bible, they took the word imagination, just like they did with divine. It's have come with the same thing. They put holy in front of it. So God of the Bible just don't have an imagination. He has holy imagination,
Mm-hmm.
which is there's no such thing as holy imagination. Okay, it's imagination. We all have that. The God of the Bible created the universe by seeing it in his imagination first.
Mm-hmm.
Then it did something that you missed probably, but in Genesis 1, the word spoke it. He seen it in his mind, then he spoke it. In the
Mm-hmm.
beginning was the word, not God, the word. Those are two separate things. I know people try to mix you up and say, well, it was God speaking the word, so the word was God. No, it wasn't. No, 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 no. The word, it tells you, what did I just say? In the beginning was the word. If the
Mm-hmm.
Bible is written by a God, then why would he say in the beginning was me? It's all about me anyway. It's about me. So in the beginning was me. Then I said this over here, and then no, it says the word because words are power. Words are frequency. Words are energy. Words create. So the imagination, that's where you're coming from. You create out of the imagination. Once you see it in your mind's eye, now you can speak it out. And as you speak it out, you create it. You create it. Proverbs 23:7 is where as you think you are. As you think you are. You have to mentally bring it in your state, and then you can make it materialize. Okay? Genesis, what's that? 6:5. 2 Corinthians 16:10:5. All these scriptures tell you the same thing, that you have to see it in your imagination before it can become material. And science right now is starting to discover that that's the way things actually work. We're on waves and frequency energy. That's why Carrie and I talked about this before. You only get to see 70% of what you can't actually see 70% rather of what exists right next to you, because they call it dark matter. So you're only getting to see just a portion of what it actually exists. You don't even see it because it's on a different wavelength, and you got to vibrate high in order to tap into it to see it or to feel it. It's on a different length. So you can't even see it or feel it because you're not on the same wavelength. Remember I said something about earlier about spirit. People who are seeing ghosts or experiencing that, they're on a different wavelength where they can feel that frequency and they can visually see an image of something. They don't know what it is. You hear something, they got right now platforms, they have whole platforms, Karen, built around ghost stories. You got people telling their stories of what they encountered with their family or individual lives, and they put them in hats and all kinds of crazy stuff, right? But that's okay. It's them seeing it. It's not me, it's them. Okay? Your experience with a ghost may not be anything but something, you didn't see a figure or something like that. But these people are saying they see figures, interacted with it some type of way, right? And that's okay, because that's their experience. But you have to be with a certain wavelength of frequency in order to engage that. If you're not on that frequency, of course you're gonna say that, that's crazy, man. There's no such thing as a ghost, because you're not on the frequency. So you can't experience it. It's impossible for you to. The other thing I want to mention is time. I mentioned this before, but we're also now discovering that we actually can move not only mentally, but time can be, you can go back. They're finally figuring this out. So we're going to see at some point if they decide to actually let society in general in on this stuff, because they're experimenting with it. You can go back because the waves can move backwards. And if the waves can move back, that means time, what we call time, can move backwards with it. But you have to be on a certain wavelength or frequency in order to do that. Now, we can't get there with our crazy chaos stuff that's going on today, because it keeps you too all over the place mentally, and you can't tap into your higher self completely because you're worried about this, that, and this interfering with your life, and so you can't tap into it. But if there comes a place where you can be quiet and still long enough, you will see that the world is a whole different place than what you've been told it is. But it all starts from your imagination too. You have to tap into that imagination. So sometimes when you hear people talking about the imagination, you want to tell them, "Well, that's just your imagination." You say it as a word of demeanor, right? I want to put them down. So I want to say you're imagining that. If they are imagining it, they're on a higher frequency than you are. You're the one that's missing out, because you're trying to say, "Well, that don't exist because I haven't experienced it." You don't know what you're missing out on unless you raise your vibration.
So true.
You have to raise your vibration in order to tap into this stuff. Now, I want to finish my part of it up, and Karen and I are going to have a conversation about this, talking about, she mentioned the word alignment, and I'm taking you through gifts. We talked about the spiritual aspect of it, but now I want to take you deeper inside of this, right? So the spiritual essence of you is built around consciousness. That means to see beyond the material, and you live through the emotion of the divine spark, your heart. That's going to let you experience the consciousness at a level where you can tap into it. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Now you also have to transcend this. Where once you get beyond yourself and beyond your limitations, and you start looking, now you can really start to put a flat
Mm-hmm.
foundation down to build on top of. Because you're going to transcend. You're going to move forward. It's going to transform you from whatever you didn't think that you were capable of into what you are capable of. But you have to
Mm-hmm.
actually know and buy into this, right? Psychologically, okay, because I don't want to leave that out. Psychologically, it's your true self. Carol mentioned, essence. It's your true self. And she told you this at the beginning of the show. She said you have to be your true self.
You gotta be
Otherwise,
your true self.
you just a personality. You're a
Mm-hmm.
character. You giving off a persona and a character. Otherwise, we see plenty of that in politics today and other parts of life on a daily basis. So you don't want to do that. You want to be who you really are. And if you do tap into this and become who you really are, people will respect you for who you really are. You don't
Absolutely.
have to be a character. They're going to respect you because then you're not flipping in and out. You're one single person. Every time they see you, you're going to be the exact same person. That's going to
Mm-hmm.
scare some people, but that's okay. That's okay because as long as you feel good about you, that's all that matters. Your journey is singular. It's just you because you're now into your self-worth. You believe that you are worthy of whatever it is that you accomplish and comes to you. You believe that you deserve that. So there's not going to be any doubt that somebody close to you say, well, you maybe, I don't know, how did you do that? They're pitching doubt towards you. You're telling them because I deserved it and this is how I did it. And you move on. And they're,
Mm-hmm.
they're dumbfounded at that point. They're like, what? What did they just say? Because you're not trying to argue your point. You just stated it.
You don't have to prove anything. There's no need to.
You don't have anything to prove.
You don't have anything to prove to anybody.
You're living in your true essence. And that's going to put you
Absolutely.
in a flow state where you maintain that sense of being. You're going to stay there and be that all the time. You're not going to have to
Absolutely.
move in and out and try to find a way. Now, in Matthew 16:24, you surrender yourself to the fulfillment of what you said and feel, and it becomes real. So you're not giving yourself away to a deity. You're going to stay into you. Matthew 16:24. Don't ask for a surrender like I'm going to pray for this. And no, you tell yourself you already have this. You just don't
Mm-hmm.
have it to where you're on the frequency of it yet. But if you can hold that frequency without doubt, it will come to you. But see, if you have it for a week or two, and you're like, okay, in 10 days I should have this, it may not show up because you're still not all the way in. You got one foot in, one out, trying to play it safe, and the subconscious is telling you, "Hey, I
Mm.
think we can actually do this." But then you're over with the ego, and the ego is saying, "You know what? No, we better not actually go all the way in on this. Don't listen to the subconscious. They don't know what it's talking about, and you won't do it. You won't hold the energy. But if you can hold that energy, be
Mm-hmm.
renewed and transformed by the mind. Romans 12:2 tell you to be renewed. The true identity is that of spirit. Ephesians 4:22 through 24. You connect the dots on this, people, and I'm telling you, the world becomes your oyster. Everything that you think you want and deserve will become as it is because you declare it your I am.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's it, Karen.
Yeah,
That's it.
well, the thing is that we really forget who we are.
Yes.
We really and truly forget because, as again, I would say the conditioning of the mind
Mm-hmm.
and all the noise that we're hearing every day,
Every day.
the frequency become distorted. You really can't understand what's happening within yourself because you're looking on the outside.
Yes.
You're looking on the outside, not realizing everything starts from within you as an
Yeah.
individual.
Yes.
Everything
Yeah.
starts from within, and we gotta release, because when we release, we open up space
Yes.
for the things that we're asking for. When we release, we are aligning
Mm-hmm.
ourselves to what we're asking for. So today, ask yourself, what does my essence want me to release? What does my essence want me to release? And what does my essence want me to reclaim?
Right.
What do you really want to reclaim in your life? Look at yourself and ask yourself these questions. What are some of the things in your life that you need to release at this point in time? Because it's like old energies you're holding on to. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're all holding on to these old energies, you're not able to shift yourself because it's holding you back. It's old. That is why
Yes.
it's going to hold you back. You got to release and free up that space so new things can birth.
Yeah.
And your essence can able to let you know what, this is what you are capable of having, because you are aligning yourself. The deep self, you're aligning yourself. Of course, yes, some relationships, it got to really go,
It's
because
gonna
you know
happen
what?
too. Yep.
It's not aligning with what you're looking to really get in your life. And another thing too, when you see you're evolving, there's a lot of things can't go with you.
That's right.
Once you are an evolving soul, there's a lot of things can't go with you. So a lot of relationships is gonna die. And don't curse it, because that was part of your journey.
Right.
It was part of your journey. It also helped you with your evolution. All the experiences, all the relationships that we walk through, it helped with our evolution. So when we're going through these different aspects of our lives, we are evolving at the same time. But don't forget, everything starts from within.
Yeah.
And once you understand what's happening within, you can able to change everything on the outside.
Yes.
Because you're able to understand, you know what? If I really want this to happen for me, I got to align myself with it so it can happen for me. And I have to see it from the end.
Spiritual.
You got to see it from the end. And every day you got to wake up and you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. If you don't do the action, nothing is going to happen.
Nothing's gonna happen.
You got to put in the action. Action is required from us to see the results that we're looking for. We got to do the action work. And once you do the action work, believe you me, it's going to happen.
It's gonna happen.
I am telling you, it will happen, because you are aligning yourself, and that's your pure, truest self. You're aligning it to the frequency that you're looking for in your life. The things that whatever you're looking for, if it's to start a podcast, to write a book, whatever, start a
Whatever
business,
it is.
whatever it is that you are looking for, and you have it in your mind, you know what I really want to start to do is, you got to start aligning yourself with it. And once you start aligning yourself with it, you will see all the possibilities.
Yes.
All
Many
the
of them.
possibilities, endless possibilities. Everything gonna start to drop in. It's gonna start to make sense and drop it into you. You're looking to write a book, suddenly you will be connected with an author. You might be having a conversation with somebody, and then the person may say, you know something, I know an author. I could connect you with that person. That is synchronicity. That's how things happen. because you align yourself on the frequency. You are on that frequency. So once you're on that frequency, things start to unfold in your life. That is how it happens. But you got to align yourself with your essence. You got to go to that aspect of your life. And it's deep. It's very, very deep. That's the only way you can get things to happen in your life. And another thing too that Will you talked about is the limiting beliefs that we walk around with every day. You know, the limiting beliefs, that is what restrict us. It's like you're putting restriction on yourself, not knowing you're limitless.
Yes.
And you're putting restrictions on yourself. Oh, I can't have that. Yes, you can have it.
Yes, you can.
You have the ability to have it. You have the ability to achieve it. But you only have to condition your mind and go on that right frequency and align yourself. And once you can do that, everything else just become magical. The possibilities becomes magical. Everything starts to align. But again, you got to put in the action work in order to have it. Because if you don't put in the action work, you can't see it. You got to, as Will said, you got to believe it.
You have to believe it.
You got to believe it. So once you believe it, you can see it. You got to you got to live in that moment like you already have it.
It already happened.
It already happened for you. You got to embody that energy. You got to embody that feeling. You know, people may be looking at us, Will, and we're talking about what we're saying here, but I can talk from my experience.
Right.
You know, there was things that I really wanted in my life, and I see it happen for me because I embody it. I got my vision board. I write down exactly what I'm looking for. Every day I go to my vision board. I look at it, and that is how things start to happen. The beautiful thing, Will, is when it happened one time, you want to do it again.
That's right. You know, you're speaking Hebrews 11:3, where spiritual creates the physical.
Yeah, you want to do it again because you realize, you know what, this is working.
Yes, it works. It works. It works.
It's working, so you want to do it again. That's the beauty. You know, that is the beautiful thing.
Said, people may not have been paying attention, but I told them at the beginning of the show, the Bible is a very powerful book if you know how to use it. You know, so it reinforces what you just said. And I just told you a scripture that reinforces exactly what she said. Hebrews 11:3, the spiritual creates the physical. She has a vision board. She also uses her imagination. That's the same thing. You tie it together and you tap into utilizing them, using, then the world becomes what you decide you want it to be. Whatever you're looking for starts to actually materialize and come to you. But you have to maintain that energy. Karen said you can't just say it and don't have anything behind it. Just say it. That's like a prayer. It's empty. If you just say, okay, well, I need, then what is that? That's not holding anything. Consciousness is you. You tap into the consciousness. You're part. That's why I say you're not, because consciousness is everywhere. You tap into it all the time. So your thoughts, your breathing, everything is part of consciousness. God is within you all of the time. It's not a figure. It's not a form. It's spirit. Once you believe that spirit, now you can tap into it, because that's what you are too. You are one of them. You are it. You are the universe. You hear people say that all the time, but then you have people, well, how can I be the universe? I'm down here on Earth. Really? Oh boy. Okay. You have to raise your frequency to understand it. But if you do,
absolutely. You gotta be on that frequency to really understand that language. Many people do not understand that language.
They don't understand it.
They don't understand the language.
That's why they say where it states that, like, if I believe it's outside of me, then I'm okay. No, you're not. No, you're not. because your journey is part of being everything that you could possibly be while you're here in this physical form.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can't do that by
Mm-hmm.
playing it safe. You have to take some
Mm-hmm.
chances, and you have to believe in some things that are going to get you
Mm-hmm.
over the next hurdle. Otherwise, you pass it off and say, "Well, I just wait for God." You know, just like Karen. Before I'm gonna shut up after I say this, but because you hear women all the time, "I'm waiting on God to send me a husband. I'm waiting on God to send me a man." Okay, the bus is passing you by 5 or 6 times because while you waiting on a deity to send you this man, that man has probably passed you up 5 or 6 times. But since you're
Mm-hmm.
waiting on a, a deity to tell you something that you already know,
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna get it. He won't be there because you're not on his frequency. You got this other thing going where women are saying, "Well, it's so hard to build a relationship. They find a man that's equally yoked with me and this kind of stuff because they think that I just want their money." Here's the thing. In the Bible, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to stop. In the Bible, every marriage in that Bible was built around transactions.
Mm-hmm.
If you read real closely, the men that they try to hold up to say that, okay, this is what marriage is supposed to look like, they were married to 2 or 3 women. Moses had 2 wives. Solomon had almost 1,000 women. Okay? So, and it was all transactional.
Mm-hmm.
It says, it has a couple of scriptures will tell you that the man was exchanging something for something. So today we hear a lot of this. Well, I'm not going to date this guy unless he can do this for me. And then you're the man saying, well, all she wants is money, so I'm not interested in that. She got nothing else to offer me. Knucklehead stuff. Because it's always been transactional. Always. If you tapped into the religious aspect of it, that's always been transactional. And it's also always been adulterous too. So all this stuff about, well, you going to hell because you're really what the main characters of the Bible were doing it all day long. And you kneel down to them. So who are you who are you going to judge? So you can't. You can't. Because you haven't read it. If you read it, then you won't have that same emotion towards that because you'll feel differently because you won't feel like, well, wait a minute, women were just treated a certain kind of way. Yeah, they were thought to be only property, basically. And that's what I'm saying. We're in the era now where women are going to restore themselves and regain their proper standing in the society where it's your turn. It's your time. So if you're a woman watching this show, it's your time. But you got to
Yes.
do all the things that Karen and I just did the show around. You have to build your essence in order to hold that energy in that frame to where you can become all of the goddess that you're supposed to be. You can heal that and become that and hold it. Okay? That's all we're saying. That's all we're
You,
saying.
while you was talking just now, I was just thinking about something is that our essence is not created. It's
Mm-hmm.
something we uncover.
Yes.
It's not created. Our essence is not created. It's something that we uncover because we are the essence.
Yes. You're already
We
it. You
are the
have to feel
essence.
good.
It's just as Will rightfully said, we just got to tap into that part of our lives. And
Mm-hmm.
once we can tap into that part of our lives, it's raw, it's unfiltered, it's the truth.
Yes.
Your essence is the truth. It it don't wear any mask. It's
No.
just the truth. It's your being. It's your being. And
Mm-hmm.
once you can tap into that aspect of your life, you will start to see changes happening in your life. I can guarantee you, Will can guarantee you, you'll start to
Yes.
see changes in your life.
Yes.
And another thing you just touched on too is you gotta be prepared what you're asking for.
Yes, you do. Okay, because if you're not, it's going to show up at your door, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't want it like that. But that's what you
You
said.
gotta be prepared for what you're asking for.
Yes.
Many times, again, because it comes to alignment. We're
Alignment. You got to be
asking for
aligned.
things, but we're not preparing ourselves for what we're asking for.
Right.
So
Because
how
you're
are you
going to have
going
to
to
shift.
get it?
You're right, Karen. You're going to have to shift because see, here's the thing. People say all the time, I want more money, right? Once you get more money, you're going to shift because you're going to be at a different level of
Yes.
people, things that you're capable of doing. All that's you're going to change because
Yeah.
you have to. You
Mm-hmm.
can't maintain whatever you were before. That was a good learning experience for you for that time. But
Mm-hmm.
now when you elevate, you're going to go into a different level and you're
Yes.
going to change.
Yes.
Your people around you are going to change too because you have access to different things now.
Yes.
So that's why, you have a lot of this. Well, I can be happy if I'm poor and broken. That's what religion is. Christianity is about you being poor, not rich. But everybody in the Bible has money for some strange reason. But you're talking about you want to be poor because God said, well, don't worry about it. I just take care of your bills and stuff like that. We shouldn't have any of that, but that's what our society is. But you're gonna have to take care of that. So you're gonna change. And so whatever you're asking for, prepare yourself for that. You're not going to be able
Yeah.
to stay where you were and say, well, I'm just going to still be the same old person, doing the same old things, and that'll be okay. No, it won't. You're going to change. You have to.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know. I'm gonna say this, Carol. When I was a kid, there was a gym that we went to play basketball in, right? And the guys from the city that had made it to the NFL and was playing professional football, they would come and actually play basketball in that gym. So you would see them as though they still just lived in the neighborhood because for the most part, they still kind of did. So you would see these guys and you see them on TV on Sundays playing in the NFL. And then during the off season, they're at home at the gym playing basketball, So they didn't change that much until they had to do that because the community itself got to where it was dangerous for them to be out mixing in with just the regular people
Mm-hmm.
like that because you had guys who wanted to prove themselves, like, okay, man, you made it, and I didn't, I haven't yet, so why don't I just, bust your knee up or something? Next season you won't be playing no football. But they had to stop coming to the gym because you had guys trying to start fights with them, trying to injure them. But before they would just come in just, just a regular person because they hadn't changed at that point, but they realized that they were now living at a different level. And there are going to be people out there that can't go with you, that's not going to be friendly with you. Okay, remember that good and
Absolutely.
bad is something that man made up. There's no such thing as good and evil. Man is the good and evil. It depends on how that person is thinking at the time, but that's the creating the evil. There's no demon out there unless that man decides he wants to be a demon. The demon
Mm-hmm.
that you see, that you proclaim that you see, that's you. That's a part of
Mm-hmm.
you. So you
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be scared of it, but you hear people all the time, they tell you, some type of a story about a ghost or something. It was a demon. It was you. If
Mm-hmm.
you look real close,
Mm-hmm.
most of the time they'll say, well, it didn't have no face. I didn't see no face on it, but I could see everything else. That's because it was you. You're the
Mm-hmm.
demon. So you got to quit using that word demon. It's a
Mm-hmm.
demon. That's a demon. It's you all the time. It's you.
Mm-hmm.
That's you. Everything that you see and encounter is you. So once you
Mm-hmm.
get to the level where you understand that, now you're not feering anything because you know it's you. So yeah, you're gonna have to change though because if you want this bad enough, and that's what you say you really want, as Karen mentioned and said, you're going to have to elevate to get there. And actually, to be able to stay at that level, you're going to have to elevate anyway because you can't hold that type of frequency unless you maintain it. You got to
Yes.
take care of it. It's not going to stay with you automatically. It'll get you there, and then you start looking
Mm-hmm.
around. You're like, whoa, this is what it's like up here. Okay, but then if you don't hold it, guess what happens to you? You're going to drop right back down, and there you
Mm-hmm.
are.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
then you turn into a bitter person saying, well, you know what, that's all fake. And because you allowed yourself not to be able to hold the energy. You didn't want to change. You have to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Have to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm done, Carrie.
Well, the thing is that we 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 have the power and
Hmm.
we're not acknowledging that we have this power.
Right.
We have
But
access to
yeah,
it. It's
yep,
right
you do.
there.
You do. It's right there for you to
It's
grab
right
onto.
there.
Again, I tell you what superpowers was in the Bible. So if you tap onto that, you know how
Exactly.
you just
It's
got to
right
learn how to use it.
there. And we're
It's like
looking
that
at other
discernment,
people.
understanding that. That's simple stuff that you should be able to tap into and understand how to use. You grow into understanding. You grow into that.
It's right there. And we're looking at other people. And sometimes we say, oh, they're getting ahead and I
Yes,
am left behind. But you're not tapping into your superpower.
exactly.
You're not tapping into that essence of your life.
That's the difference.
You gotta tap into that superpower. It's right there. You
Right
came
there,
with
right
it. You born with it. It's
there.
not far away from you.
No, right there,
That's the beautiful thing. We
right
can
there.
just tap in. It all calls for discipline.
Yes,
We gotta discipline ourselves, discipline our lives as individuals. And once we start to discipline ourselves, we can achieve anything we are looking for in life. We can
that's
change
right.
our life around.
Hmm.
But we tend to look and judge things that are happening at the moment in our lives, not realizing that whatever is happening at the moment is a process that we got to go through
You have to go through it.
in
Have to go.
order to reach to the next level.
Hmm.
For instance, like just when we're talking about what we're asking for, we're asking for things in our lives, but we got to go through a process in order to get it because the universe got to make sure you have the capacity
Exactly.
for what you're asking for so you can able to sustain it when it come into your life. So whatever we got to go through that process in order to achieve what we are looking for and what we're asking for. So the alignment could be painful. That's alignment. It could be a
Yes.
painful alignment because the journey is not easy. It's not a walk in the park.
No.
It's not an easy journey. Whatever you're asking for, it comes with something.
That's right. Gonna cost you
Comes
something.
with something. Whatever you're asking for, it comes with something.
Yeah.
So you got to prepare yourself that whatever you're asking for, whatever situation arises in your life, whatever experience arises in your life, once you tap into your essence, you can able to understand that this situation that I'm going through or this experience that I'm walking through is helping me to get to the alignment that I was asking for. That's it.
That's it. That's it. This is
That's
a
it
good
right
show,
there.
Kelly. Yeah, that's it. I enjoyed this show because of what we're talking about and because of the importance of it in one's life. Uh, you know, I said the discernment, and I keep coming back to that because it's such a powerful thing. If you understand it and actually utilize it as one of your superpowers, just discernment alone will take you places. Allow you to do certain things that you hadn't even thought about doing.
Sohini, welcome. You look beautiful.
Thank you so much.
You look
Hey,
Good
good,
morning.
girl. Good evening. You look so good, Sohini. Thanks for joining us.
absolutely.
Thank you so much. I think I'm a bit late.
That's okay. You're not late. You're right on time. You're not late. You are right on time.
Yes.
Okay.
You're here
Hi.
with the
Where you supposed
message.
to be when you're supposed to be. So that's it.
You're here with the right message for the viewers. So give us the message.
So, yeah, first of all, good morning to everybody. It's already 6:20 here. And yeah, thank you so much, Karen, that we are meeting her again after a long time. Yeah. And It's today's topic is unadulterated essence of who you are,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And yeah, yesterday I was thinking that what does it mean? Like, what is the essence? What I am actually? Basically, what I am and who we are actually end of the day. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like staying always clean with with the like being yourself even after the whole day, even after the so much pressure of life, after everything, after all the experiences, whether it is negative, positive, whatever it is, end of the day actually who we are and how we think about ourselves. So I feel it's basically, see, we all go through pain. We are not the same person as we have born. Actually, we all go through so much suffering, so many like pain and so many things. But for me, it is like sometimes what happens that we change ourselves so much that it is impossible for ourselves to find the, I mean, to know who I am. End of the day, we don't understand that actually who I am and who I used to be. So, um, it is more like embracing our natural softness, embracing our natural purity. Sometimes what happens, um, it happened for me so many times because of my life experiences, because of my suffering, because of my pains during the growing years. So many things happened to me, and I found myself that I have changed a lot. I have changed a lot, and it's not me. We don't give it a thought that how much we have changed during our journey. But when we start giving it a thought, we get ourselves that this is not me. It's not me. It's completely a different person. So it is very necessary at this stage of my life to know myself first, to know who I am. Because until and unless I don't understand who I am not going to understand the other people. I'm not going to recognize what is happening around me. So it's very necessary, even after being deprived, even after being exploited or whatever it is necessary not to lose our purity. And for me, who I am as a human being, it is and it will always be a form of energy in a human body who is always connected to universal energy or God. So that is the unadulterated essence uh, of who I am. It is for me. It is applicable. I personally believe that it is applicable for me, and it is the like it can't be changed. It can't be changed. It is the universal truth. Again, it comes to spirituality because spirituality does not mean like being religious or worshipping a devotee. No, a person um, can't believe in God but still be a spiritual person. Spirituality means the same thing, knowing who I am. That is the core spiritual thing. That what is my truth? What is my unadulterated like essence? What is my true self? Who I am as a person, and that's the thing. Like I feel everybody like a grown person, or anybody needs to protect our inner peace. That is very much like needed because these days there is no peace, no peace outside. There is literally we all are going through so much. You know what is happening, like uh, political scenario or natural calamities. There are so many things happening. But the thing is protecting our inner peace. It's all about protecting our inner peace because peace is not outside. Peace is always inside. Yeah. And if you are not a like, if you are very void, if you have so much void inside, you are not going to find peace. You are not going to know actually who you are. If end of the day you don't want to sit with yourself, it is like then you are not going to know actually who you are and what is your purpose. So, who you are as a person or your unadulterated essence of who you are, it is closely related with your purpose, I guess, with your purpose of life. Because when you understand who you are as a person, then definitely it comes to your mind what is your purpose. Without purpose, there is nothing actually. We are not born here to have a very good job and having a very happy family. It can't be purpose. It can be your profession. There is passion, there is hobby, but it is not your purpose. So I feel that if you want to know what is your purpose, you have to know that who you are as a person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You touch on, so Henny, you coming at the right time. Your message was so profound because you said something that you said, know thyself. That is so profound. Know thyself. And once you know yourself, that's the essence. That's the
Yes, it
essence.
is.
Knowing thyself. That is the essence. Beautiful message, Sohini. Beautiful message. You know, the thing is that you said something else to protect your peace. Protect your peace because so many things is happening in the world today, you know, and it's so many noise every day, so many things we are tuning into, so many things. But you know what? We got to protect our peace. We got to
Yes.
know when to switch off. If something that you're listening to is disturbing your spirit, you got to know to switch it off because we all have a choice. We all have this choice. If something that you're listening to is disturbing you, just switch it off. You don't have to tune into that frequency. You have a choice to just switch things off. And it's the same thing with relationships that are in your life. You can exit if you are in a conversation and you're feeling uncomfortable in that conversation, you could just excuse yourself from that conversation. You don't have to stay there. You can excuse yourself because it's disturbing your essence. It's disturbing
True.
your essence. Go ahead, Sahini.
Yeah. And one more thing that I want to say, like these days, I see people they look outside for peace. They are very much like dependent on other people for validation. People are pretty much
Yes.
they are very much external validation seeking. They always need constant attention, especially the young generation, the Gen Z.
Yes.
And this is the point where y- the more you want to attract other people, the more you look for external or outer validation, the more you will see a void inside you because everything is inside you. Everything. You can have like expensive clothes, like cars and gadgets, whatever, wristwatches, everything. You can see this generation. They are like you won't understand. Like I feel sometimes that I have seen Gen Z especially. They are like Bollywood or Hollywood actresses. They don't wear a single cloth. Like they don't repeat their outfits. They are at that stage. But you can find them constantly depressed. They are very depressed. They are doing everything. They have everything that we never used to have. but they are very depressed. They are going to stress. Why? Because they are depending on the external things much more than the internal things. They try to find the peace in the outer world rather than looking into their like inner self. So that's the point. It is very necessary. I think people need to understand this. Otherwise, they will go to depression. They will go to trauma. They will find it very difficult to like stay in a relationship. They are changing their relationship like
Mhm.
clothes. I can see them because they don't know.
So
They
true.
don't know what to do. They don't know basically that what I can do, what is like right for me. They are very clueless. You can ask them, you can sit with them and ask them that what do you want. They don't have answer. They are always in confused state,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
confused state, and
Yes.
that is the only reason because they don't know who they are. They are constantly trying to fit in with the society, and that's where the main problem like comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
internal peace is very necessary, and what is like I think each and everybody should have every day 15 to 20 minutes for meditation because meditation helps a lot. Meditation, like if you don't know what is meditation, if you don't know how to do it, it's not a problem. But just keep, like don't use the mobile for 20 minutes. Don't talk to someone for 20 minutes. Just sit in a quiet space for
Yes.
just 20 minutes in the nature or in your garden. That is very, very necessary. That is very, very necessary for our nervous system. And it is mainly our nervous system. A person with a calm and stable nervous system is the person who can find peace. Without that, when your nervous system is always in anxious mode or your nervous system is always in excitement, you are not going to find the peace. You are not going to know what is peace. You will
Right.
always going to find a void everywhere. So it's basically your nervous system. Just give 20 to 30 minutes to yourself, sit in a quiet space. Then you will gradually start understanding what inner peace is, what your soul journey is, what your purpose is. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm. That's good. That's good.
Sohini, oh my goodness, you have touched on some real valid points there. When you talk about seeking outside validation, that's a huge one. That's a big one. And when that come about is unprocessed childhood wounds. You know, that person was unseen, was unheard, so they feel as though they got to look on the outside to get that validation before they can really do anything for themselves. Not knowing as an adult, you can change things, you can go through that process of healing and change things for your life.
Right.
you know and another thing you touched on as well, we look on the outside and we see all of this glamour, this big glamour, you know but behind this glamour, do you really know what is behind this glamour?
Mm.
Do you really know what is behind this glamour? A lot of sadness, a lot of pain, a lot of heart
Darkness.
is
Yes.
behind this glamour that we are seeing, this big glamorous person, well dressed, they look happy. Woo! Driving a fancy car. But do you really know what's behind all of that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know when that person go home and lie down in their bed, how they're feeling? Because it's a mask, it's a show. And we now, as you rightfully said, the younger generation is getting carried away by this show. And they feel as though they got to fit into that kind of lifestyle.
Yes.
But not knowing behind that lifestyle what is happening. So many things are happening behind that lifestyle. That is why when we're raising our little children now, we really got to instill values and help them to understand, know thyself, help them to understand that they can tap into their essence, that whatever adversity they face in life, they can tap into their essence. Because when you know better, you do better. And you're able to now help the younger generation who is coming up to understand more in depth about life. Because as Sohini said, they're looking at all these glamorous things that is happening and they're getting carried away by these glamorous things. And because of that, they're straying away from their essence. They're totally straying away from their true essence because they're looking on the outside. And when things face them, because we all going to go through stuff,
Right.
it's part of our evolution. So if they're not standing on that right foundation, when things face them, how are they going to be able to walk through all of these experiences that they need to go through in order to evolve? So we as adults, that is why we have this podcast, that we can able to help individuals. If a young person is watching this podcast this evening, you can understand that the glamorous look that you're seeing, there's a lot of stuff behind that glamorous look. And are you willing as a young individual to go through that experience or those experiences to achieve
Mm.
that glamorous look? Are you willing to do that? That is, a lot of us, we get fooled by that, but are you willing to go through those experiences that individual went through to achieve what they have on the outside? Are you willing to do that? Ask yourself that question. Are you willing to do that as an individual? Because you don't know, you just don't know. What you're seeing, you don't know. Many things we see, we don't know. We want, but we don't know. Do you have that capacity to go through that to get that?
Mm.
So, this was such a powerful conversation this evening, And Sohini, thank you for coming in. You're right on time.
Absolutely.
You're right on time. You bring it home.
Uh-huh.
You nailed it.
Thank
You
you.
nailed it. You nailed it, Sohini, because in this space, we are just helping individuals to understand about know thyself. I'm using your words, Sohini, know thyself. Because when you know thyself, you're tapping into your essence of
Right.
who you are. It's tapping into that essence of who you are as an individual. And we created a space whereby you can come and you can be fed. If you come into this space, you can eat some and you can share some. If you know someone who can benefit from this podcast, we highly suggest that you share it out this evening because you're helping someone. You are helping someone. Well, give us the word before we go. And then Sohini right after, give us the word before we go. Well,
Um, Thank you for showing up for Henry. You closed the show perfectly. And I'd just like to say thank you for letting me be a part of this show on this particular topic. Because, like I said, I think that one person at least got the message that they wanted to hear tonight. And
yeah,
that's all that matters. If it's just one, that's enough because that person's life could change from this topic, as I mentioned at the top of the show. So that would be it for me.
Sohini?
Yeah. Um, yes. One thing that just came in my mind, like I heard once, like Nicole Kidman, when she won award, she said that I am so much lonely to share my happiness because I have nobody to share it with. So that's the thing. What is happening? Like there is always an imbalance between external and internal world. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever your external world is this, your internal world gets down.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so what is happening as your external world is so much designed, so much heavy, it is always external, external. What is happening? Your internal world is feeling like a lack.
Yes.
There is like nothing to like work with. You have nothing internal actually. So
Mhm.
that is the thing that is happening with current generation. So uh,
Yes.
you can find them easily depressed, and you can find them like going taking different therapies for very like very little events, for very minor events, like someone father's uh, like just said someone a very little thing, and that's why the person is taking therapy. So
Mhm.
they don't have that enough stability actually, that much tolerance, that much patience, because
Yes.
it's always like outer world related. Their life is going through that like this. So that's the thing. There is always an imbalance. So if you want a balance, because without a balance, you are not going to feel the peace. No
Absolutely.
matter how much successful you are, how much rich person you are, like how much people like you, uh, so you will always going to find a void. You will always going to see life as like it is purposeless. Only because you have nothing internal. You have not worked on yourself. So working on yourself is very necessary in order to stay into the peace.
Whew,
Yeah.
this was good.
Good. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Sohini, for taking the time and sitting with us this evening, because you know what? Our essence is very important. It's very important, especially at this point in time. So many things we are seeing that is happening and it's going on in life, you know, and we are forgetting to tap into that sacred aspect of our lives, that essence. That's who we are, you know, and we are here to remind you that you can tap in. We are here to let you know that you have the privilege to tap in. We are here to let you know that that's one of your superpower,
Absolutely.
and you can tap into that place. Pause if you have to pause. If you got to go away from social media for a period of time, just do it. Just do it. You're doing it for you, nobody else. You're doing it for you. And when you come out back from that space, you come a totally changed person, because you align with yourself, you align with your values, your worth, you know. And before we go, name your feelings without judging them. Name your feelings without judging them. Acknowledging your needs before others' opinions. Acknowledge your needs before others' opinions. Affirm your decision internally before asking for feedback. Affirm your decisions internally before you asking for feedback. Allow yourself to make mistakes without self-judgment. Because mistakes, that is how we learn, that's how we grow, that is how we're able to evolve. And celebrate your achievements. Celebrate who you are. No matter how small it is, celebrate it. Practice speaking to yourself kindly. Speak to yourself kindly. Notice when you're seeking reassurance and pause. Ask, what do I think? What feels true to me? Ask yourself those questions, because you're shifting yourself inward. And when you're shifting yourself inward, you're going to wholeness, you're going to balance. As Sohini just talked about balance, you're balancing yourself. And it don't need no outside validation.
Yeah.
You know you. As Sohini said, know thyself. You know you. Return to you. Return to you. As an
Yeah.
individual, return to you. Pause and return to you. So this evening, we just want to thank you so much for taking the time and sitting with us. We want to thank all our subscribers on all the platforms, because when you subscribe, we know that you're taking the time. If you don't catch us on the live, you can catch us on the replay, and you can listen back to these podcasts, because it can help you in some way, form, or fashion. Sometimes you may not need it today, but it's always there that you can always go and tap into it whenever you need it in your life. You can go and tap into it and help to sustain you and give you the hope, give you the words that you need to help you as an individual. Because every day we are evolving. Every day we are evolving. We are evolving souls every single day. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. We just don't know. But you can always go back to these podcasts that we have on YouTube on Soul, Light, and Body. And it can always help you as an individual. So if you have not subscribed, we highly suggest, it is the first time you're listening to us, we highly suggest that you subscribe to Soul, Light, and Body, that you will never miss none of these episodes. Because these episodes are very enlightening, it's very enriching, and it's helping you as an individual on your journey called life. And we want to also thank all the persons who have joined Bloom again, because we are getting so much great feedback from individuals who are experiencing transformation. We always like to see the transformation, because when you experience a transformation, it tells us clearly that, you know what, we're doing our job to help you as an individual. So thank you so much for sitting in that circle with that HINDAHA energy and helping you as an individual to transform. It's all about transformation. You want to experience transformation, and transformation just don't happen just like that. You got to put in the work to see the transformation. You got to put in the work. It calls for work. It just don't happen just like that. A lot of times people think transformation just happen just like that. It don't happen just like that. You got to put in the action. You gotta align yourself. You gotta put in the action to see the results that you're looking for. So thank each and every one of you for being a part of Soul, Light, and Body, enrichment of mind, body, and soul, and Bloom again, Tea Talk and Transformation. We want to thank each and every one of you for entering into these spaces, because we feel so good that we can able to help humanity. Well, thank you once again. Sohini, thanks once again.
Thank you so
Tommy,
much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
you're welcome. Welcome so much, Sohini. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. And Tommy Thompson, we are sending you all the healing energy. And just know that wherever you're saying that your sight, we are sending you all that healing energy. And keep telling yourself, my sight is restored.
Right.
You're not blind. My sight is restored. Keep telling yourself that. My sight is restored. Thank you so much for being behind the scenes, Tommy Thompson.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love each and every one of you. Have a fabulous week and continue to know you can tap into your essence. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
You
Love
too.
you.
Bye.